Hello everyone, this is our second recipe video for the launch of our new cookbook, Love at First Bite, My Weaning Journey. Chock-a-block of delicious recipes to take you through all 3 stages of weaning with your little one. And today I thought I would take you through one of my favorite stage 2 recipes, which is a butternut and kale macaroni cheese. It's like an amped up, healthier version of a classic mac and cheese that is full of nutrients that babies need when they're growing. For example, it's got kale, a really lovely dark leafy green, packed with iron, which babies really need at this stage of weaning in stage 2. But of course, as always, our recipes are really versatile and you can substitute with any dark leafy green you've got. Cavolo Nero would be lovely, baby spinach works equally well. The first thing you're going to want to do is to grate your cheddar cheese. I've already done mine. Here it is, 200 grams grated mature cheddar, and because cheddar cheese naturally has quite a bit of salt, the most important thing is that we're not going to add salt at any other stage of this recipe to really limit your little one's salt intake. Then you're going to want to blitz up your bread into breadcrumbs, which I've also already done. That's to add some really lovely crunchy texture to the top of your mac and cheese, and have your other ingredients ready to go. My butternut squash, diced up into 1 centimeter big pieces, is already in my simmering basket, steaming away, and we're going to let it steam until it's lovely and soft. So that is our butternut squash, lovely and soft, which we are now going to lift out in its simmering basket. Just very carefully, it is very hot, and we're just going to transfer that onto a plate for now. And then you're also going to remove 2 tablespoons of the cooking liquid from the mixing bowl. You can always do a little bit more. This is very similar to how you always keep a couple of tablespoons of your pasta cooking liquid to thicken up and make your sauce lovely and glossy. So we don't need the rest of this, empty it out. But we will need the mixing bowl again in a minute, because we are going to blitz up our butternut into a lovely smooth sauce to fold through our pasta. And just to clarify, while your butternut is simmering away, you are going to be cooking your macaroni on the hob according to packet instructions, and then set it aside ready to stir through in a minute. So lovely soft butternut squash in, and we're also going to put in our reserved pasta water. Start with 1 tablespoon, and then you can add more if you need to. So pop your lid on, 7 seconds, speed 7. You just want it nice and smooth, but it can still have a little bit of texture should you want that. There we go, and then just give it a check, and if it's not smooth enough, scrape down the sides of your mixing bowl with your spatula and go again. So I can see mine is still a little bit too textured. I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to add in the rest of my reserved cooking water and then give it another blitz. So this is where I'm at now, and I do want it just a little bit smoother. So the rest of my water going in, and then I will blitz for another 7 seconds on speed 7. Okay, that should be lovely and smooth, and then we're going to stir that straight through our macaroni. There's mine that I've drained and set aside. This looks great. So this is what's going to bind our macaroni together before we add in our cheese sauce, which we'll get onto after this. So now I'm going to stir the butternut through the macaroni. And there are so many ways you can adjust this. You can use any type of squash you've got at home. You could use pumpkin. And of course, you can adjust it to use different kinds of pasta. If you'd rather use penne, that would also work well. Just make sure that it's a kind of pasta that will be easy for your little one to either grab onto with their hands or kind of spear with a fork. So all of our butternut into our pasta, and now we're just going to give it a lovely stir, get it all through. This is such a good way to sneak a vegetable into food for your children, and honestly this recipe is perfect for children of any age, not just babies who are in stage 2 of weaning. So this is a great one for the whole family to enjoy. Obviously for adults, you can just sneak in a sprinkle of salt at the end for some added savory flavor. But this is actually packed with flavor without salt. So, pasta done. Now we're going to move on to our cheese sauce. For your cheese sauce, you're going to need 40 grams of flour straight into the bowl, 40 grams of butter, unsalted, straight into the bowl, 150 grams of your grated cheddar. The rest is going to be sprinkled on top before we bake. There we go. And 400 grams of milk. So you can use whole cow's milk or you can use formula milk if you prefer. Right. And then we're also going to add in some lovely smoky sweet paprika for a little bit of extra flavor. A pinch of nutmeg. Nutmeg always brings a lovely kind of sweetness to white sauces of any kind. And just a pinch of coarsely ground black pepper. Not a lot, of course. Little ones are not super fond of the spiciness of pepper early on. Later on they might love it, but to start, as with anything, start with small amounts and increase as your baby gets used to the flavors. So we're going to pop our lid on and we're going to cook that for 7 minutes, 90 degrees, speed 3, until it is lovely and thick and creamy. And while that's going, you're going to preheat your oven to 190 degrees and grease your casserole dish with a little bit of olive oil. All right, now it's time to take a look at our beautiful creamy cheese sauce. Let's see, that is perfect. That's exactly what you want. You do want it to be slightly thinner because it is going to bake and thicken up in the oven with the pasta and everything else. So to minimize mess, we're going to add our kale, which I've torn up into nice small pieces, into the cheese sauce. Just pop it all in there and give it a really good stir. It will be cooked by the heat of the sauce and obviously finished off in the oven, so no need to worry about pre-cooking it. This is especially the case for your kind of more delicate greens. So if you were using baby spinach, you would really put it in at the last minute. Kale is a little bit hardier, which is why I'm taking my time really stirring it into the sauce. And then we're going to pour this into our pot with the pasta. And mix it all together. So that's going in. So we've got the lovely sweetness from the butternut with the macaroni. We've got this delicious cheesy sauce, iron-packed kale, full of nutrients. And we're going to top it with those breadcrumbs and the remaining cheese for a lovely crunch. So giving that a really good stir. Make sure everything is really well mixed together. It's amazing how much flavor you can get into food with or without salt. It's really not necessary, especially if you think we've got the beautiful sweet smoky paprika in there. We've got the nutmeg, and you do get some saltiness from the cheese, so it's not as if it could ever be bland. So now this is going to go into my greased casserole dish. I've got my oven on at 190, ready to bake this for about 20 to 25 minutes, just until it's bubbling and golden brown on top. I don't think people would believe you if you said this was baby food, to be honest. This is the kind of mac and cheese I would make for my friends if they came over for dinner. And it does make you feel a bit better knowing it's that little bit healthier, doesn't it? Like, it's not just pure cheese. It's got some greenery in there and the butternut squash. So sprinkling over my remaining cheddar and finishing off with our breadcrumbs. I think breadcrumbs are an absolute necessity. They really do bring a beautiful crunch to your mac and cheese. So this is 30 grams of breadcrumbs. You don't have to use them all. I like a really thick crust on my mac and cheese, but up to you. So now we're going to pop this into the oven at 190 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes until it's lovely and golden. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this recipe today, and I hope that you get your hands on a copy of Love at First Bite, My Weaning Journey as soon as possible.